Welcome everyone. I'm very excited about today's topic. It's all about telephones and the various options that are available to people with hearing loss. So, the level of hearing loss might make it challenging to hear on the telephone. Background noise. So, if there's background noise, people on the other end talking, the television talking, the TV, or if other people, if there's noise on your end as well. Mobile phones. Sometimes people say that they have trouble hearing people who are on their cell phones. So mobile phones sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge. There's interference there. Sometimes there's buzzing noise, especially when it's paired with vehicles. So if there's a smartphone that is paired with the car, the it picks up all the road noise and things like that. So it makes it difficult for people with hearing loss to hear. Sometimes there's faulty telephone wires as well that can cause interference. And speaker phones. Some people have trouble hearing on the speaker phones and conference phones because it is further away from their ear. It's not close to their ear. And yet there are some people that have said that they find speaker phones better than having the receiver at their ear. So there's a lot of mix there, and a lot of that, it really depends on a person's hearing loss and their preference too. Unclear speech. Sometimes people are not speaking clear. They could be talking too fast. There's accents as well. I myself find it difficult sometimes when I'm calling, 1-800 numbers and like for insurance companies or things like that. And it's difficult when you don't know, the accent. So it is difficult when someone has an accent. And again, can't see lips. So that's number one reason. A lot of times with people with hearing loss, they do lip read and they rely on facial cues as well. So over the telephone, you can't see lips. So with telephones, in relation to, so as I mentioned, there's varying degrees of hearing loss. So with the telephone, it transmits speech. So it has a certain range of frequencies where speech is heard clearly. So when someone has hearing loss, it makes it much more challenging. And there's different telephones as well. Some people find a particular brand better for them than another brand. So it really has to do with the type of hearing loss that they have. And some people, no matter how loud a telephone is, a regular telephone, it's just not making it clear enough for them because they're missing some of the frequencies that's being transmitted over the phone. So that's what I want to talk about today is different telephones. So it's special telephones for people with hearing loss. So most telephones now, after years and years, the Federal Communication Commission, they mandate that all landline telephones be hearing aid compatible. So what that means is that being hearing aid compatible means it will it takes away some of the frequency or the interference that someone will hear when a hearing aid user is using the telephone. So it helps with acoustics. Now, hearing aid telephone is not, it is better than a regular phone. However, it may not be enough for someone. And that's what we're talking about, is the extra. So there's so many phones out there, and it's difficult to know what to choose. So I'm going to be displaying some cordless telephones. So landline telephones are corded telephones, and they're also cordless telephones and inline amplifiers. So a landline phone is a phone that goes plugged into the phone jack in your house. Now, with as long as the main base is plugged into a phone jack, then that is your landline phone. Now, you can have extra pieces to be added to that. So you could have expandable handsets that go with it. But the main unit must be plugged into the phone jack in order for it to work. And a lot of times, what people end up doing, I find this is the number one mistake that people make, is when they go shopping for a telephone, they'll go to a retail store, like a big retail store, or order online. So, for example, it could be Canadian Tire, it could be Best Buy, it could be Amazon. So, people oftentimes will look at the specifications of the phone, and if they see, oh, okay, it's hearing aid compatible, well, all telephones, all landline phones are hearing aid compatible, unless they're cheap phones like for $15 that you can buy at Piper's. That may not be hearing aid compatible, but most phones on the shelves are hearing aid compatible. So hearing aid compatible oftentimes is not enough. So a regular phone that's hearing aid compatible is, let's say, for example, 10 decibels. So it might be some volume control on that, but that's going to increase it possibly up to 30 decibels. So that oftentimes is not enough for someone with hearing loss. So if it's not enough for someone with hearing loss, then that means they need hearing aid compatible phone for people with hearing loss. So it has more amplification and it's clearer as well. So that's what I'm going to show you. Let's see here. So this one here is a Panasonic, and it increases up to 50 decibels. So this one has volume control on the side, and it also has tone control. So the tone control is when someone, maybe they can hear high tones better than low tones, or vice versa. So they can adjust that when they're on the call, because different people have, different tones in their voices. So it also has caller ID as well. It has speakerphone, and it flashes when it rings. So this one increases up to 50 decibels, as I said, and but that doesn't mean that you have to listen at 50 decibels. It just means that it increases up to 50 decibels. So it can be lower as well, of course. So it's a really good phone, lots of great features in it. It also comes with an expandable handset, so you can have multiple phones as well. And so the next telephone that I'm going to mention is the Clarity. So this one here, it increases up to 40 decibels. So this one is more for people with moderate hearing loss, whereas the Panasonic cordless phone is more for people with severe hearing loss. So this one here has the same features as the Panasonic, pretty much. So it has the tone control. Tone control is on this side. The volume control is on this side. It also has the boost button to give it an extra boost, similar to the Panasonic phone. So if someone is struggling to hear at 40 decibels and they just need a little bit extra boost, they can do that. and it comes with extra handsets as well. So the other one that I'm going to show you is the corded telephone, and this one is a Clarity as well. And this one is pretty much the same features as the cordless phone, and it has volume control, the tone control, and the boost as well. And this one is up to 40 decibels. So that would be for someone with moderate hearing loss. And it comes with extra handset, like this one. So a cordless handset. So the main base is corded, and the other pieces are cordless. I know that some people like to have more than one phone, so that's really good options there. They will cost more, of course, than regular phones where you can get the bundle. So these phones will cost more, and the reason for that is because they are specialty telephones for people with hearing loss. So they are going to cost more when you buy the main unit and then the expandable handsets. So the other option would be inline amplifiers. So the inline amplifiers are good for when you have an existing corded telephone at home already, and you like that phone, everything, you love everything about it. So you just need that extra boost in volume. So this one here is a Serene UA50, and this one comes with, it increases up to 50 decibels, and it's got a little boost on it as well. And it also has tone control on the side too. So, and this one, you just dial it to increase the volume to your comfort level. And this one is a really good option, and affordable option, I should say. And it just goes attached to an existing corded telephone. And this one is good for work telephones as well. So like, your desktop telephones, this will be a great option. Another inline amplifier would be the Clarity. So this one increases up to 40 decibels, and it's got a little boost on it as well, and it just increases the volume a little bit and also the tone control right here. So these options are good for corded telephones that you have at home. And to recap some of that, basically, there's landline options. So you basically decide, do you want corded telephone, cordless telephone, or inline amplifier attached to an existing telephone that you have at home. The hearing aid compatible. So what you would look for on the specs on a box is hearing aid compatible. So you want to make sure that is going to help with the acoustics. But oftentimes it doesn't say what the volume level is. So is it amplified up to is what you need to be looking for. If it doesn't say amplified up to, or if it says amplified up to 30 decibels, in most cases it's not enough volume for people. So you want to look for something that says amplified up to 40 decibels, amplified up to 50 decibels. Hearing aid brand. So there's other types of phones too. So there are some hearing aids companies that have their own they have their own special telephone. So most cases they are cordless telephones. So basically they just pair with the hearing aid brand. So it could be, say, Phonak hearing aids, and they have their own model of telephone. Usually it's cordless, and it just pairs right to the hearing aid. And people, they say that it sounds like someone's talking to them right in their ear. So the sound quality is really good. Now, I've had some mixed reviews on that, so I think it probably depends on the level of hearing loss that someone has. I've had some people say they find it really good, and I've had some people say they didn't find it very good. So it might depend on the level and the type of hearing loss that someone would have. So I've already mentioned about the preset tones and volume. So some models have where it's easier to quickly change the pitch and the volume of a person's voice. So it's already a setting that's in the phone, and they just press a button. And, if someone is talking to, say, their son, and they can hear okay with their son, but then the grandson gets on the phone and they have trouble hearing the grandson. So they know, oh, okay, I must press this setting here so that I can hear my grandson better. So that's an example of that. Most of the telephones that are amplified would also have extra loud ringer. And I think that this might be where some people get confused, is that it oftentimes telephones do advertise extra loud ringer or ringer that increases up to 100 decibels. So some models have ringers that can be set as high as 115 decibels. Some people have trouble hearing the telephone ring. So that is very helpful as well. So just be aware that if it's extra loud ringer, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's an amplified telephone for speech. So you want to make sure that when you are looking for a phone, it says amplified up to 40 or amplified up to 50, for example. So some other features that people might be wanting are speakerphones. Some people really prefer the speakerphone. The volume boost button as well, that can increase a little bit more, maybe by 10 decibels. That might give you a little bit of boost there. The caller ID feature, very important for a lot of people. They want to know who's calling. Voice announce incoming calls. So sometimes people find that really helpful. So while the phone is ringing, it announces who's calling, which is a really good feature. Some people want the answering machine, and in particular, the Panasonic has a built-in answering machine with a slow mode playback. So you can listen to voicemail messages, and it slows down the speech of the message. And you can also play it over and over again. I know I've done that lots of times over the years, trying to figure out what someone is saying. So that's a really cool feature, is that it can slow down the speech of the voicemail message. So I also want to point out that we do have a lending program. So the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association, Newfoundland and Labrador, we do have a hearing assistive technology lending program. So you can borrow some of my products that I have here today, plus I have a lot more as well, that you can try it out for a couple of weeks. If you are outside of Mount Pearl, you might get a little bit extra time there to allow for the mail. So we can mail it out and you mail it back to us. And then there's no obligation at all. You can try out telephones. If you find that one wasn't loud enough, wasn't clear enough, then you send it back and I can mail another one. So we've had this program for about, I say, probably close to 20 years now. So it's been a fantastic program. It's helped people really choose the right telephone for them. And it's a free program to residents of Newfoundland and Labrador. If you are outside of Newfoundland and Labrador, you can certainly reach out to your Canadian Hard of Hearing Association chapter in your province, and they may have a lending program. So you can reach out to them about that. We also have an online store. So that is our social enterprise. So it is called Assistive Hearing, which is up in the right-hand corner there. So the website for assistive hearing, and we do have limited selection of items that people can purchase at our online store. And of course, I do recommend that you try it out first from our lending program. And the website for assistive hearing is assistivehearing.ca. So you can definitely check that out. Yeah, I'll go to the next slide. Okay. So before I move on though, I wanted to show a picture of the inline amplifier and how it is actually attached to a corded telephone. So if you have a corded telephone at home now and you really like it, this is how an inline amplifier can be attached to your corded telephone. So it easily attaches. Like I said, it changes the pitch and the volume of a person's voice. You have the tone control, you have the volume. We have two different models, amplifies up to 40, and another one, a Serene, amplifies up to 50 decibels. And of course, borrow it. Try it out first before you purchase. Now, let's talk about smart devices. So, smart devices, there's so much I can tell you about them, but I'm going to focus on the listening, the telephone features, the communication features of a smart device. So they come in lots of options, mobile phone options. So there's flip phones, there's the Android phone, and there's iPhones. So your flip phone is, I have heard recently that it is making a comeback. It, sort of older technology, but it might be coming back. So the flip phone is not considered a smart device. So you can basically make calls and text it. So you can't make video calls and things like that right now. So your Android phone is the type of phone. It would be your Samsung, your LG, your Google Pixel phone, and your iPhone is Apple iPhone. So other communication devices in line with that, so the Apple, they have iPad, iPod, and the iPhone. So tablets, that's considered an Android device, and your laptop, so that's a computer. So your iPad, I know a lot of older people and some young kids, they would have iPads, a lot of times just touch screen. The iPads, you can't make video, you can't make voice calls on the iPod, but you can do video calls with it. And the tablet, you can also, tablet and iPad is more for video conversation. And same thing with the laptops. With laptops nowadays, you can make calls through VoIP. So that's voice over internet. And I've already mentioned about hearing aid compatible. So hearing aid compatible would be your landline phones, but also most smart devices or smartphones are hearing aid compatible now. There's settings in your device where you can turn on the hearing aid compatibility. Now, I turned on my hearing aid compatibility on my iPhone, and I didn't notice a difference. Now, some people, there could be a difference for them. So it didn't make a difference for me, but I say give it a try and see if it filters out any of the interference that you might be experiencing with your smartphone. Bluetooth. So the smartphones are Bluetooth as well. So it can be paired with your hearing device. So your hearing aid, your cochlear implant, your bone anchored hearing aid, it can be paired with that, and you can adjust the audio settings while you're on the call. So that's really, really good feature that the Bluetooth capability. And smartphones and smart like iPads and laptops and tablets, you can also have captioning with that. So you can have voice and video calls. And the captioning can be, you just have to turn it on your smartphone or your smart device. So that's your iPad, iPod, tablets, and your laptops as well. So notification alerts, that's another feature. You can adjust, you can make it, your phone loud ringer. You can change the ringtones where you're able to hear it. You can have vibration. You can have flashing alerts as well. So there's all kinds of notification alerts to let you know that someone is calling. So some other features, they have speakerphones, they have caller ID, hands-free calls, voice announcing coming calls as well, and voicemail transcripts, which I find really, really helpful. So if I miss a call, I go to my voicemail, and there's a transcription of what they said. So that is extremely, extremely helpful. I find that very helpful. Also, I recommend that before you purchase your smartphone, try it in the store before you purchase. If you can, ask. I always ask whenever I'm looking for a new phone, I go to the store and I ask. So we're talking about stores like TELUS, Bell, and Kudo, and those stores. So ask them if you can try it out. So make a call using the phone that you're interested in. Make a call and see if you find it good, if it's clear for you. Because smartphones do vary in terms of the clarity. So you want to find something that is right for you and the type of hearing loss that you have. So, yeah, I do encourage that. So let's talk about face-to-face phone calls. So what we already said that telephones are challenging for people because they can't read lips. So this is where we can have face-to-face phone calls now. So we can use FaceTime, Messenger, Google Meet, Zoom, and Microsoft Teams. So there's lots of platforms that you can use on your smartphone or your tablet. So also, I have good news. You can also have captioning with these platforms as well. So all you have to do is turn on captions or subtitles. Sometimes they might call it subtitles. So you just turn it on, you go into accessibility, you go to settings first, then you go to accessibility, and then you'll see captions. You can probably go into hearing, and then you'll see all the features for hearing. And you will see captions. And on my iPhone, there's actually, it says captions for FaceTime. And then I just turn it on. So every time FaceTime comes on or I get a video call, captions are automatically on there for me. So Messenger as well, and Google Meet, and Zooms, and Teams. Most people would use Zoom and Teams for work purposes. And there's a lot more video platforms out there as well. So with laptops, such as like Zoom, so you could have, or Google Meet. So if you have, or on FaceTime, so let's say you have your tablet, you can have several family members connect through a video call, and everyone could be on the call at the same time. So, and you can have captions as well. So in this example here, we have the mom and we have the three daughters, and we have the captions turned on as well. So she's able to see and lip read their faces and their lips, and she can also read the captions for anything that she misses. So it's a really, really good feature. So it's not just for like workplaces. You can use this on your iPad or your tablet as well. So workplace phone options. So workplace. So the it is challenging for workplaces to find something that works well, and it takes some trial and error when trying to figure out how to hear best at work over the telephone. So I've come up with some solutions that I've worked with over the years with myself and my clients and other coworkers. So a lot of what I have here is really trial and error. Um, so the amplified headset. This one that I have first is a headset by JBL, and it just fits over my head like this, and it has it's noise canceling. It is wireless. It can connect Bluetooth to your iPads, iPhones, even laptop computers. You can have team meetings as well through your Teams platform or Zoom, and also VoIP calls, so voice over internet calls as well. So this one I have heard is really good. It's got great sound quality. It is amplified for people with hearing loss, and it also has tone control. So with this one, a lot of times with people with hearing loss, is they need that extra volume. And people who have normal hearing, who don't have hearing loss, they don't need that extra volume. So that's where it becomes really difficult, is when people with hearing loss need more amplification. And the majority of headsets out there are not amplified enough for people with hearing loss. So that's why some of these solutions are so important to, if they need hands-free, for example. So hands-free would be the JBL headset. The other one is the Anchor headset, and I found that one to be really good. The cups are really good. It's a really good size over the hearing device. So, you've got hearing aids or cochlear implant, is a really good fit over that. And it provides superior sound quality too. So those two are really good devices, and I got those on Amazon. So now we have the inline amplifier. So this one here, as I mentioned before, is good for household telephones. Well, this one is good for business telephones as well. So for a simple, easy solution, this can go connected to just a regular office phone, desktop phone, and it would plug into that. Now, and then you would use the receiver. So for anyone that needs hands-free, so they need a headset. So what would happen is there's a headset that goes with this one, and so you have to plug it in. So it's not wireless as such. It still has a wire that connects it to this. So this is not Bluetooth, for example. Um, I've had mixed reviews about that though, and I'll show you the headset that goes with that. So it's this one here. Pull out the microphone. It goes like this. So, and then the cord goes plugged into the UA50. So it goes plugged into, it's got a cord, and it goes plugged into the bottom of the UA50. And then, so this is not going to work by itself because it doesn't have volume control in it. This is where you would get the volume control. So this is giving volume to this headset, basically, is what's happening. Now, this headset can go plugged into a regular headset desktop work phone, but it's not going to give you any more amplification, basically. So you need to have the inline amplifier for this to be louder and clearer for someone with hearing loss. I've had mixed reviews on this one. Some people say that the sound quality is not as great. So I do encourage people to try it out and see what works best for them. So sometimes it depends on your setup at work as well, the type of desktop phone you may have, things like that. So the other inline amplifier for workplaces would be Plantronics Vista M22. So this one, the model, there's probably more up-to-date model than this one. They are changing their models a lot, the Plantronics company. So basically there's volume control right here. It's got the headset, so you press that when a call comes in. In the headset, an example of a headset, because there's lots of different headsets that can go with that one. But again, it is not wireless, so you're still connected by wires. So it's pretty lightweight. It's more of a typical call center type of headset. However, it does have a cord. So you plug that into the bottom of the inline amplifier, and that increases your volume and your clarity as well. So, and there's tone control on this one too. So I've gotten mixed reviews on that one as well. In addition to everything else that I've talked about, so some things that you can do to help you on the telephone. So it's really important that you know your hearing level. So I do encourage everyone, get a full hearing evaluation done. Know where you are. That will help you find a device as well that's suitable for you. So that, if you have moderate hearing loss, then you know that, okay, a 40 decibel telephone will work for you. If you have a more severe hearing loss, then you know that a 50 decibel telephone is what you need, for example. Now, sometimes, depending on where your frequencies and the pitch that you have the hearing loss in, trying out different phones, you might need to do that as well. So saying that 40 decibel telephone is going to help everyone with moderate hearing loss, no, it's not. So it really does depend on you and your hearing level and where the frequencies that you're missing, where they are. So the next tip I have is, move to a quiet place. So if there's a lot of background noise, you're going to be competing with that. So you can't hear. Oftentimes, people cannot hear over background noise. And especially as we get older, that becomes much more challenging. Disable notification. So on smartphone, there is a do not disturb feature so that you don't get incoming calls or incoming notifications for different alerts, for example. It could be the weather app. So you want to turn all that off when you're on the telephone. And same thing, landline phones too. People have call waiting beeps. And, sometimes that's very, very distracting from when you're talking to someone. You want to make sure that you have a strong signal and you have good sound quality. So make sure that, and especially with smartphone, sometimes there's interference, and you're experiencing a poor signal. So it could be you're going under a bridge, for example. So you want to make sure that you've got good sound quality. Clarify and repeat. So oftentimes I will repeat back what I think I heard. So I will say, so what I'm hearing you say is my appointment is 11:50 tomorrow morning. And, the person will say yes or no, kind of thing. And you want to confirm the details. And sometimes when I have trouble hearing on the telephone, I will say, okay, when they give me postal codes, I'll say, okay, A and then AOB, for example, B as in Bob, number one, and then K as in Kit, for example. So a lot of times I will use that to help me confirm the details, especially with postal codes, telephone numbers too. And wear your hearing aids or other technology. Now, some people say they need to take their hearing aids out when they're using the phone. And that's okay. If you find that you hear better without the hearing aid on the telephone, that's okay. It's just the way it is. And then, some people find, so, you can try it with the hearing aids and without the hearing aids. So it really depends on you and your hearing loss and what you're comfortable with. Now, I added this one. This is something that I do. Sometimes I will screen my calls. So what that means is that I will let it go to voicemail. And the reason I do that is because the system that if it goes to my voicemail, then I can read what the message is, right? So then I can replay it as many times as I want to understand the message, who's calling, things like that. It could be someone with an accent, and it's super, super difficult, right? So that's what I do. I screen my calls sometimes. I will not answer. I'll let it go to voicemail, and then I can listen, and then I can call the person back. I know exactly what they're calling me about, and then I can call them back and give them the information that they were looking for. And I've got our contact information here. Please reach out to me if you have any questions